If we start with the big girl division, Gut, you're 1 game up on Andrew.
Yeah, 30-point.
3 on Jack.
Jack needs 2 wins with Andrew losing both times. They do play each other once. Tony, you're a game behind JMO, and then the WOT division is actually the GOAT division.
Man, where do I even start? This week was very, very important for the Motley Crew, for my team. Very important week for Gut as well. As you guys probably know if you've watched the last episodes, Gut and I were playing each other this week. We're into the divisional play. And like I said, it was a very important matchup for the both of us. There was a couple scenarios at play this weekend. A lot of things that kind of needed to fall our way to kind of get a real shape of what the playoffs could be, at least over here in the big girls division. And if Gut wins this week's matchup, which congratulations, Gut, you did beat me, so I do want to say good game to you. Obviously, you know, it was something that you needed. I needed the W as well, but that leads us to that first scenario. If Gut wins and I lose, and also Jack wins, that takes us to a week 14 matchup where Jack and I are going to be going head to head against each other for that last playoff spot.
Quick yap sesh. I did almost crash out during Thanksgiving, not because I actually give a shit about this fantasy league, just because everyone was just being miserable for no reason. I get you guys hate Thanksgiving because you hate your families. I enjoy my family, and so I was just crashing out because I wanted to trade Jalen Hurts because I wasn't going to start him, and I fucking played him instead of Caleb Williams, and everyone thinks I'm out of the playoffs, but if you look very, very sneakily, I'm winning over Andrew this week by like 40 points. He's got Bo Nix going tonight. I've got Javonte Williams. If I can win this week by having 40 more points than him, he loses to Gut, I obviously beat Joe, then we play in week 14. If I beat him by 36 points in week 14, I would get the final playoff spot. So keep that in mind. I threatened to drop Terry McLaurin. I may need to do it. I'm going to need upside players. I'm going to need a full roster. But I do have some FAAB, so I'll get Isaac Orendo in there. Yeah, just like the trade deadline, like it's not that deep. Just like move it to Thursday. Everyone's trying to have some fun anyways. Hook 'em and fuck Mott.
So now we're at this point where it all comes down to week 14. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how this happens. I know a lot of the guys in the office, they wanted really Jack to lose this week to Joe.
My rooting interest in this league right now is 2 things. First thing is we need to make sure Jack does not get into the playoffs, because if he gets into the playoffs, he's going to be insufferable, and I don't want him to even have that shot of winning it all. So because Andrew lost to Gut, it now really comes down to Andrew taking care of business next week and getting that win against Jack to get him out of playoffs.
The big girls, Jack's still in it. Huge win for him. And with Andrew losing, Jack made up some points on him. I don't have the full numbers yet, but based on the projections, Jack will need to beat Andrew by about 30 points in week 14 when they play each other head to head to make the playoffs over Andrew.
Very interesting to see how this happens. I know a lot of the guys in the office, they wanted really Jack to lose this week to Joe.
Yeah, it's going to end up being a pretty severe tier gap between Joe and 12th and then like everybody else, especially when you put the points for included into it. Honestly, Joe's like the last person I would have wanted to have finished in last place. One, he's probably like the most likable person in the entire league, and then 2, he's probably the person that would do the worst in the stand-up comedy. Pretty sure he's going to boycott. I think he would rather quit working for BDGE than actually do the stand-up, which I would respect.
If Jack loses, then we don't have to hear him yap about potentially making the playoffs for another week. If he knocks me out, I probably will never hear the end of it. It's gonna be a living hell. I'm not gonna lie. So I gotta win that matchup. I gotta beat Jack, and I gotta make the playoffs, man. So really, that's what's on my mind today. Really, everything this week went Jack's way. He beat Joe, Gut beat me, and he outscored my team by like 30-40 points, which did help him quite a bit. So everything went his way. Nothing really went our way. But at the end of the day, man, it's gonna come down to this Jack matchup with me here in week 14. It's going to be interesting too, because there's a good narrative with this matchup. He has Jalen Hurts, I have Saquon Barkley. They play the Carolina Panthers. Is this going to be a game where Jalen Hurts steals a couple of those touchdowns from Saquon and vultures those? If he does, Jack might have the upper hand. You also have to account for the fact that I have Joe Mixon on a bye week. I also have Bo Nix on a bye week, so I'm going to be forced to play Russell Wilson. Now the thing about Jack is he has Terry McLaurin, who has been one of the anchors of his team all year long. He is on bye. He also has Javonte Williams on bye, which he's been playing as a flex piece, and he also has Mark Andrews on bye, so he's going to be missing 2 or 3 starters as well. I'm going to be missing those 2 starters, so we're both going to be playing a little bit of chess. We're going to be trying to figure it out and see who we can plug in and make this matchup interesting. But yeah, but hopefully this team, the Molly crew, hopefully we can overcome one more obstacle here in week 14, beat Jack, find our way into the playoffs, and then have something to play for in weeks 15, 16, and 17.
As promised, I beat the shit out of Tony No Dimes, ending his playoff hopes. Wasn't even close, was never close, will never be close. Just an absolute savagery smackdown.
Season has finally come to an end. You know, before this week, I thought we had a little bit of a heartbeat, a little bit of life still left in us. After JMO wins his matchup and after I lose mine, my team, we're officially dead.
We're finishing strong. Listen, we were in the running for last place for a minute, but we've come on strong. I'll tell you what, the teams that are getting into the offs, the teams that are going down the stretch run are lucky not to see me. I would not want to see me if I was in the playoffs. My team's as strong as anybody else's out there. Doesn't matter. Too little, too late.
You know, my hopes weren't like that high that I was going to ever get into the playoffs. Essentially, when Brock Purdy got ruled out on whatever Friday that was, I knew that I had to make some moves, but more likely than not, my team was pretty much done.
Tony might be the Trojan horse to all this. And with Brock Purdy's injury, Tony's just, you know, he's a madman. A lot of props to Tony for just really wanting to make moves. But I ended up making a trade. All right, let me get Brock Purdy. I got CMC. Man, that was some 4D chess. Damn it, Tony. Now I'm stuck with fucking Brock Purdy on my team while they're terrible this year and no CMC. I've been trotting out quarterbacks that frankly been leaving a lot to be desired. We got no grit. This whole team, the chemistry, the injuries, nobody wants to be a part of this team. The minute that Will Levis and Bryce Young step foot outside of this team, it's totally new guys. Brock Purdy goes for 2 points this week.
My one thing that I wanted to end the season on was to beat Nick. I didn't want to give him that satisfaction of beating me one last time before the season ended. You know, neither of us had anything to really play for except for pride at this point, and I wanted to go out with my pride.
Hey, Rich, coming to conclusion here. He is who we thunk he was. Josh Jacobs, for all y'all that talk trash about the Breece Hall trade, Jacobs has absolutely ran circles around Breece Hall since that trade happened. RB2 in fantasy since week 7. So fuck y'all. Kyron Williams, grow up. AJ Brown, grow up. T. Higgins finally grew up. George Pitt, like, the team is well rounded. We're doing things here. It just doesn't matter because it's too late.
You know, all week he was talking his shit, being like, I'm gonna blow your team out of the water. Your team's got no shot. I'm gonna obliterate you, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, as the 1 o'clock game started to come to an end, started collecting all these clips that I was just ready to shove back into the group chat. Let them resurface. Let them have some breathing room, you know, after I fucking wipe his team. But, you know, 4 o'clock rolled around. He had Kyron Williams and AJ Brown, who needed a total of 30 points, which on most weeks should be a very easy ask from those 2 players. But, you know, the first quarter goes by and neither of them have done shit, and I thought, you know what, maybe your boy still got a shot at this. Halftime hits, I'm not looking good at all. I think I'm only up by like 1 or 2 points. But then as time starts rolling and rolling, neither of those guys have scored any points. So I thought I might have snuck one out of there. But Kyron Williams gets a last second carry to ice the game for the Rams, to ice my season, to ice the win for Nick.
Tony showed up, thought he was going to steal a dub there. Motherfucker. Najee Harris, best game of his career. DJ Moore, best game of his career. Nick Westbrook-Akini, best game of his... Everybody on his team, best game of his career. Still fell short. Sad showing. Sad showing from my good friend and even better enemy, division mate, Tony No Dimes.
I wanted this game bad. It was against a division rival, co-worker rivalry, all types of rivalry going on in this one. And I really wanted it to end this season on a relatively positive note because we started this year super fucking hot. 6-1, now 6-7. These last 2 months have been fucking brutal. I mean, I'm out here in the goddamn woods trying to figure out where I went wrong, trying to figure out what I've been doing with my life for the last 2-3 months, dedicating to a game that is not given back to me whatsoever.
Yeah, Tony, get fucked.
What a battle I've been in with Nate this week. 2 low-scoring teams. One of us has to win. Whichever one of us loses is probably out of the playoffs, and it's all going to come down to one player Monday Night Football, Portland Sutton, over under 17 fantasy points.
The only fun thing going on right now is Sexy and Nate have a phenomenal finish right now. That division is so close. Any of the 4 teams can get into the playoffs right now. Nate needs 17 from Cortland Sutton against Cleveland. I don't know that I feel great about that. He's done it before. He's red hot. He's scorching right now. 17 is a pretty tall task as like a floor play that you need from a guy though.
This feels like as much of a 50-50 as you can get. Sutton has been great. Cleveland, little bit of a tougher defense. I think Denzel Ward will be on him. Need a big Denzel Ward game bad. The big pressure point is the Woats. JL dominates Adam.
Yo, big calves of destiny, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Never doubted us. Never, ever, ever. We beat one of the best Woats in the whole league this week. Adam, bro, I thought he had me. I thought my bad luck streak was gonna continue, and it might. It's not over. I don't know why I'm counting my chickens, bro. I don't need to be counting no hens, no chickens.
And the bigger thing for Adam is CMC might be out next week. So with me and Nate, if Adam's team is a little bit banged up here, then the matchup between me and Nate could be the one that decides who the second playoff team is.
Bro, when CMC slid on that injury, when he went down and out in that game, I wasn't trying to wish for no injury. Like, I wasn't trying to be like, yo, I hope CMC gets hurt, but your boy was a little happy. Just a tiny bit happy. I mean, he had 8.7 points and he got hurt in like the first part of the second quarter. CMC was gonna cook in that snow game, man. I needed him not to play, or else this would have been a much sadder video. I would have been probably crying. It would have been really depressing. If I lost to Adam this week, it would have been done though. That's it. I'm cooked. My division is lost.
I just figured, man, at this point, with like, I don't know what else you want from me. Chris Godwin, right? Let's go ahead and let's pour one out for him. It was a great start, right? 8th round pick. We did well. It's a wrap. Done, cooked, totally cooked. We got, we'll get CMC back though, right? It's gonna be good. Get CMC back in there, but no, like. You're probably wondering too, Corona cans? The whole squad is cans, all right? We got nothing but cans over here. Just, look, pour one out. Don't need this jersey anymore. CMC. Waiting for what? He's fine, though. He gets to go, got Olivia at home, chilling. I don't know what he's going to do. We're in shambles over here, all right? There's 1 week left. JL hit me with the entire squad just went absolutely bananas this week. Every single person, double digits. No holes. I got Buckied. Bucky Irving goes for 27.5.
Bro, but Bucky showed up again, 27.5 points. Oh my God. Yeah, and then Brock Purdy didn't do nothing. He got hurt. He got hurt worse than CMC did. He had 1 point when CMC went down, like 1.16, and bro got one more whole point the whole rest of the game. One whole half, he got 1 whole point. This is absurd.
I could go through the rest of his team and tell you how they destroyed me. 159, top on the week, but I'm with Jameis on this, right? The unwavering faith. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. I'm getting a lot more of the taketh away lately. Week 1, right? CMC is supposed to play Monday night. I'm playing sexual. I don't even play CMC because he doesn't suit up. At a certain point, you're like, all right, well, CMC's kind of just cooked. He's not going to come back. I'm kind of visualizing my season without CMC. All for him to actually come back. Now, he never really looked quite like the old CMC, but you're seeing all the snap share. Why you got to do this to me? Like, just stay away. Just stay hurt. But CMC, the PCL, I mean, I don't know. This matchup versus JL is cooked. The whole season probably is in shambles.
Cavs of Destiny, they're going to the playoffs. Lock it in. Call your mother. Call your grandmother. Tell her the Cavs of Destiny. They did it. They did the impossible. They made it to the playoffs. They're going to take down Casey and his band of dumbass NFL players. Fuck you, Casey. Fuck your mother.
Casey's team is looking more fraudulent by the week. I almost had back-to-back smackdowns on him. He loses again to J-Mo. It wasn't even close.
We're tied with JL, top of the division. So looking forward to next week. If Nate beats Adam, I'm in no matter what. Even if I lose, I'm in. However, if Adam beats Nate, then I need to beat JL to get in. And then it would be me and JL. And JL is locked in for sure no matter what. And he's lucky he is because he's got a lot of buys this week. doesn't really have much FAAB, can't pick up Garendo. The fact that he has so many buys and I play him, that's huge for me. I don't think he's going to be heavily favored. I might even be favored this week. We'll see. But, oh man, my heart was like beating out of my chest the entire game. I never want to go through that again. I just got to stop watching the games if it's just my opponent having a guy. I just got to go for a long walk and then come back and see who won. But if we look towards the waiver wire this week, it's a big one because with how many buys there are, there's going to be a lot of teams who need players. And if you look at the matchups that matter with Woats and then Jack versus Andrew, lot of buys. Adam's going to be without Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. JL without Lamar, JT, Zay Flowers. Andrew without Bo Nix, Joe Mixon. Jack without Terry McLaurin, Mark Andrews, Javonte Williams. And if you look at the FAAB dollars, it's really a three-way battle for Garendo, assuming they're not idiots. We got JMO, Casey, and Jack all over $100. Nobody else is close. So one of them should win the Garendo sweepstakes. And Jack has the most by 2. If I was him, I would just put all of my FAAB on Garendo because it feels like everybody else is worth the same anyway. Like if you get, I don't even know who's available on the wire, but they're all worth the same besides Garendo. And in a must-win week, he needs all the upside he can get. He also has to win by 30, so he can't just squeak out a win. Excited to see how it all unfolds. I've got a little bit of FAAB. I'm probably just going to put enough on Garendo to make sure that nobody I don't want to get him gets him, like Adam or JL, because I think I have more FAAB to both of them. If I make it into the playoffs with this shitty-ass team, like, I don't even know. I feel like it doesn't deserve to be here with the injuries I've had, players just being shit. But once you're in the playoffs, anybody can win. And if this is the team of destiny, then fuck it, I'm going all out. If I win the championship in this league, I'm putting the entirety of my $5,000 winnings on one hand of roulette in Vegas. I'm going to Vegas and I'm putting it all on one color. I'm going to try and double my winnings because if I get that lucky, I might as well get even more lucky.
We got nothing. We got a bunch of cans, a bunch of cones. We're feeling cooked, but we're going to rally. We got one last week. See what we can do. It really pains me, though, to see that I got Brock Purdy on the squad with no Christian McCaffrey. This is just... Congrats, Tony. I know you didn't make the playoff. You're probably not making the playoffs either, but I think you won, you know?
And then the second rooting interest is assuming that Jack doesn't get in the playoffs. It's literally just anybody but Casey.
Would have loved to have seen Casey on. I actually would have loved to have seen like 90% of people on stage. I'm glad it's not me, although I wouldn't have cared about the punishment. I'm almost thinking, I'm not going to put this on paper. Definitely not going to put it on camera. I kind of think if Joe has to do it, I think like 2 or 3 of us should also do it with him. I think we should have a couple of us go up there and like do it before Joe does it. I know it's his punishment, but I think it'd be kind of fun if we all took a little swing at it though, just to see how it goes, you know? It would have sucked to have finished last place. Like you don't want to finish there, you know? Like you're a fucking competitor and it just feels like so much of this is revolving around luck and injuries and stuff. So you're like, fuck that. But I would have been fine actually having to do the punishment, you know? Whereas, you know, like in eating punishment is way less like public humiliation, obviously, but you have no control over it. And then it also like ruins your whole day as well as the next day. The stand-up routine would actually have been kind of fun. Like we all go out together, we make a night out of it. It'll be like something funny to look back on, good memory, good content, all that kind of stuff. But for Joe, I feel bad because he said he's not having fun at all this year.